Okay, in this video, we're going to talk about dispositioning rental properties. And really, there's a couple different ways that you can disposition a rental property.
House so easy, we close fast, and anytime that works for you, your house don't need it, we'll throw cash.
So I mentioned in another video, and tons of videos actually, about the BRRRR method. And that's one way of doing it. Buying it, hopefully with somebody else's money, rehabbing it by hiring a general contractor or doing it yourself, leasing it, hire a manager or do it yourself, and then taking it to a bank or a credit union and refinancing to pay back those lenders and acquiring yourself an asset. Another way to go about doing it is just to purchase a property that doesn't need to be rehabbed and then leasing the property. Either you can do that or a property manager can do it for you. So you can use the BRRRR method, which essentially is going to, be a great strategy if you can get a good deal on a property that needs a lot of work. The other option would be to just find a property that doesn't need a lot of work and just buy it however you are going to want to buy it, with the bank or a credit union or whatever. That may require you, most likely will require you to put some money down, but that's okay for some investors. And then you can then lease the property. Well, the third and final way that comes to mind for dispositioning a rental is to buy a property, fix it up, get it leased out, and then sell the property once it is a performing asset. So the first two approaches of buying, rehabbing, renting, refinance, and repeat, the BRRRR method, and the second approach of just buying a property that doesn't need a lot of work and renting it are really strategies or dispositions to get it rented, get it performing, but for you to hold those investments and keep them long term. Whereas the third strategy of selling that rental property turnkey is a great strategy. It's one of my favorite strategies. And this is a strategy where you are essentially helping other investors that want to be landlords or are already landlords find an easy property that they can acquire that's already rented and sometimes already rehabbed, and it's a great asset. So sometimes we will sell a property that we own that's already rented, that's turnkey, to another investor. Other times we will buy a property that needs a bunch of work. We'll do the work, we'll rent it, and then instead of refinancing it or keeping it, we'll just list it, or we'll send it out to our list and network of investors that are landlords and see if they want to buy it. And oftentimes we can sell a property, and this is referred to as a turnkey property sale, to another investor that's already rented and make $20 or $30 or $40,000 because we created so much value by taking a property that needed work or wasn't occupied and it wasn't performing and fixing it and cleaning it and getting it occupied and getting it leased. And then all of a sudden what was a liability has now become an asset, and we can sell that asset to another investor and we can get a healthy profit by doing so. So there's several different ways in which you can disposition a rental, but it really matters on what your goal is. Is your goal to create passive income? Is your goal to offset active income with depreciation and tax benefits? Is your goal to create wealth over time by having your tenants pay these properties off? Well, then acquiring a rental and holding it, regardless if you use the BRRRR method or not, is probably going to be the best strategy and the best approach for you. If your goal is to go make 20, 30, 40,000 or more, then maybe acquiring a rental, getting it rented, maybe fixing it, maybe not. It just kind of varies and depends. But then selling that property to another investor for a lump sum of cash might be your strategy. Again, it's going to depend on what your goal is. And one thing I'd like to mention before we wrap this video up is we always have a goal in mind when we have a property, and then we put together a plan. We never go into a property without a plan because that's not a good strategy. So please, if you're going to do this and find a property, figure out what your goal is. That shouldn't be difficult at all. Do you want to keep it or do you want to fix it, get it rented, and sell it? That's it. So simple. But then once you figure out your goal, put together a plan. Follow that plan. Do not deviate from that plan, and try your best to not pivot away from that plan. Reason being is if you rehab a property for rental and then you decide that you just want to fix and flip it, the rehab that you had done or are doing might not be as of quality as if you had the plan from the beginning to fix and flip it. You might cut some corners or use materials that are less. So stick to the plan. It's incredibly important, okay? Figure out your goal, put together a plan, and then execute that plan. It's not hard. You got this. You can do it.
House so easy, we close fast and anytime that works for you. Your house don't need it, we'll throw cash.